Thank you so much for inviting me to be part of this. This is an amazing opportunity for all of us to learn and share together. And what you're saying is so correct, and it's all about cooperation. It's how we cooperate together that's going to make the difference. And what's beautiful about what's been said so far today is that everything has been focused on what's going to help the athlete. What's going to help the child? That's the key element. As long as any of us, administrators, coaches, parents, are focused on, oh, what is this going to do for me? How is this going to give me prestige? How can I enhance my reputation by having this talented individual in my family or in my academy? As long as that's our focus, nothing will work. But if all of us together focus on what's for the benefit of the child, not just the athlete, we have to stop thinking that because you play a sport at whatever level, you're an athlete first, and I forget that you're my child. I forget that you have emotions, that you have challenges, that you have fears. We have to treat them as a whole individual. So when we set our plan isn't just, I'm going to win Wimbledon in 20 years. What are the possibilities of that? Minimal. Becoming an Olympian? Minimal. Wonderful to have that dream as a motivation. However, what kind of individual are you being? Excuse me? Thank you. One thing that's beautiful about India is that you teach one thing very, very, very well, and that's respect. Usually. Respect for elders. I was spoiled. After going back to the U.S. from working with kids here in India, it's a nightmare because they don't have that respect. However, what's often lacking is helping the child develop their own self-respect. That belief in themselves that I am worthy of asking the right questions. It's okay for me to have fears. It's okay for me to have tears. It's okay for me to have emotions. They're a growing child first. So even if you have that wonderful goal of I'm going to win Wimbledon, the question before you even ask what are the steps in the plan that I have to do should be what kind of a person do I have to become? And that's our job as coaches. That's our job as parents. What kind of athlete, but more importantly, what kind of individual are we helping to develop through sports? Education, sports. Sports is so much better at teaching life success skills than taking any kind of test. I'm sorry. It was a true privilege for me to be the first coach of the BAT program, the Britannia Amateurage program, and that is the only real corporate-sponsored, totally funded, where they brought the best players in the whole country together. And even though Leander made the Olympic medal and all of these things, I'm just as proud of the people and the individuals that all the other players have become. But yet, Leander's still playing. He's older than half of us here, right? He's still playing, like 29 years on the circuit. Why? Leander has always played from the heart. We hear about passion. I love that word. Every time I hear it, it's passion that we're here to develop. I guarantee it's not the money, because he didn't even make enough last year to even pay his bills, to travel. But in 2005, he invited me to go with him to the Australian Open. And we were sitting in the swimming pool, looking out over the beach and the ocean, and we were talking about his retirement. Ted, sir, should I go in the movies? Ted, sir, should I open an academy? What should I do? 14 years later, he's still on the tennis circuit. Why? Because he's passionate about the sport. He loves every aspect of it. He's not passionate about business. And it's that passion. And the reason that he developed the way he did is that he always had a growth mentality. Which means, how can I get better? What can I do to improve? I just lost a match. Do I go and sulk and think that I'm no good? Or do I learn from it? Do I go to the coach and say, I gotta work harder? My backhand fell apart. Whatever sport, you look at that competition, what's more important? Winning a medal, winning a match, or learning from your loss? Now, the opposite of the growth mentality is the fixed mentality. And all of us have some combination of those. I grew up in a fixed mentality household. My dad was a school principal. I had to be perfect. If I got a B on my report card, I caught hell. I played basketball. I grew up in Indiana. Basketball is the only thing that counts there. But I had a coach who said, don't shoot if you're not within 15 feet of the basket. Well, I couldn't get a shot off if I was 15 feet inside the basket, so I said, okay, I won't shoot anymore. But I was so proud of my basketball career. I made 3 shots out of 5, 60%. Why? Because I was sitting on the bench all the time. The only time I got in was when I could make a layup when nobody else was there. Meanwhile, my best friend, who shot 35%, was making 20 points a game and was a varsity star. He wasn't afraid to make a mistake. He shot the ball. I was afraid to make a mistake. When I picked up tennis, it was the same thing. I became the greatest lobber in the world. Why? Because every time I made a mistake, my father on the sideline would do this. I can still hear it. Finally, I said, Dad, would you like for me to win? He said, of course. Tell you what, stay away from my matches. I finally had the guts to say it. If you're there, I lose. Years later, he came to visit me in Hawaii, and I was playing a tournament. Doubles. And I was up first set, cruising through the second set. He showed up. I lost. Unbelievable, but that's what impact we have as parents and coaches. One thing we say that limits their ability to grow and gets them in that fixed mindset. The fixed mindset says, I'm either smart or I'm dumb. I'm a winner or a loser. I'm talented or I'm not. And it's fixed. The growth mindset says, well, I'm here to grow. I'm here to learn. Let me make mistakes so I learn from it. Not trying to avoid them. So I want all of us to look at ourselves and see, how am I helping to create a fixed mindset in my child? Is the first thing I ask when they come off the playing court or whatever competition, did you win? Fixed mindset. If we ask, or worse yet, if we don't even ask, if we just launch into a diatribe about why they lost. Oh, you should have done this. Oh, you didn't do that. What did you do here? Will they learn from that match? No. Instead, they think, I'm hopeless. I'm useless. When Ryan talks about belief systems, it's that belief, that inner belief that I'm worthy. I'm worthy of your love. I'm worthy as a human being. And I choose to compete at the highest level I can so that I can learn about myself, so I can grow. And that's why I love tennis. Other sports are awesome. All sports are great. Tennis is unique and it gives you plenty of time to learn what you're doing wrong and still try to figure it out. And yet recently one of our players here had a meltdown in a match against a girl that she had been really close to, but was getting crushed. And at 4-0, she lost it. And later I asked her, what were you thinking then? And here's a girl who has a wall full of trophies, is an incredible athlete, an incredible human being, and she said, and I loved her honesty, she said, I felt like I'm a loser. She judged herself as a loser. And here's an incredible person. So that's a fixed mentality, saying, if I lose, I'm a loser. Oh, I've lost 3 straight finals. Oh, I always lose in the finals. Those words, always and never, fixed mentality. I don't change, I don't grow. When I asked her what she could have been thinking then, she came up with all kinds of great things. Now I've got to fight harder. I've got to stay focused. I've got to figure out a plan. What can I do to shift it? What can I do to throw her off her game? What can I learn from this match? So that's the growth mentality. And all of us, coaches, parents, administrators, at every step of the way, we're either reinforcing a fixed mentality or a growth mentality. Every child comes in with a growth mentality, right? The first 3 or 4 years of life is incredible. Always asking questions, always curious. How the heck do they learn language like Canada so quickly? I don't know. They just learn. They just grow. And then what happens? Go to school. Now we got to teach you. Now you have to hear from me. I've got all the answers. And we destroy that zest for living, that zest for learning. Same thing happens in sports. Instead of allowing them the freedom to discover their skills and develop them on their own a little bit and see how much fun they can have, automatically it's, here's how you do it. Oh, you did it wrong. Oh, no, that's not the way you do it. We start judging. Then they start judging themselves. I teach love of making mistakes. Fortunately, tennis is a sport that you can make a ton of mistakes and still win. But learn from it. If you hit the ball in the net, hit the next ball in the back fence. You've learned. You've corrected. Just don't make the same mistake 3, 4, 5, 6 times in a row by not learning. So we've got 2 types of mentalities, and everybody's a mix. The beauty of it is our belief systems about who we are, and even which we have, is not fixed. We can change our belief systems about ourselves, about who we are as a coach, about who we are as a parent. And then when we look at coaches who have a huge responsibility, there are transactional coaches, and there are transformational coaches. So what's a transactional coach? I have all the answers. You shut up and listen to me. Right? The dictators, the bullies. It's transactional. You give me money, I might give you some knowledge. But if you win a trophy, oh, now I'll give you a little bit more because now I can make my reputation off of you. That's a transactional coach. There's even another one, and that one I tend to fall under, which is wanting to be liked so much that you don't have the guts to tell someone, hey, that behavior is not correct. To not set boundaries and stand up for it. To allow kids on your team to bully each other or cut each other down instead of seeing themselves as a team. The biggest challenge of that, and my greatest satisfaction, was the fact that we took competitors who'd only seen each other as competitors at national tournaments, brought them together where they're living together, eating together, going to school together, and if we would have allowed it to be just a competitive aspect of dog eat dog, it would have been disaster. But because we were concerned about developing the individual, we developed a system of cooperative competition, a feeling of family, a feeling of love. Right? You're my best friend, right? We're living together. I love you. So what do I want to do? What's the greatest gift I can give you? Kick your butt on the tennis court. Why? Not to prove how great I am, but to force you to work harder tomorrow. To force you to get better. A transactional coach never thinks that way because it's all about them. It's my reputation. It's my knowledge. See my background? See all the medals I won? I'm awesome. I got all the answers. And they never ask the key question of that child. How do you feel? How does this make you feel? What's happening in your life? Oh, you're lazy today. Well, what is it? Is it an injury? Did you not get any sleep last night? Did your parents have a big fight and you're emotionally distraught? That's what a transformational coach does, is finds out what drives that child. What are their hang-ups? What challenges are they facing? And then how can we work together, parents, coaches, and the child? How can we work together to enhance your improvement? It's always about a team. We can say all the excuses we want. Fixed mentality is the government will never change. Oh, these tournaments are horribly run. Okay, that's the fixed mentality. Looking for excuses, that's another key one. All right, so you hear excuses, fixed mentality. The growth mentality takes responsibility. And as you can guess, the transactional coach usually has a fixed mindset. They kind of go hand in hand. The transformational coach never looks at the child and says, this person has talent and this one doesn't. They look for the gem in everybody. What's your passion? What turns you on? What will it take to bring that out of you? As I look back on that program, I look back now with different eyes, and I see that, all right, Rihanna, welcome, just in time. So anyway, as I look back at that, now I can see who had the fixed mindsets and who had the growth mindsets. There was an incredible player named Sridhar Gobalia. And he was probably the second best player the first year. When Leander joined, he kicked Leander's butt every time because he was consistent. And that kid could get every ball back. And Leander, at the beginning, couldn't keep 3 balls in. But he would stand 10 feet behind the baseline, scurry his little hind end off all over the place to drive you crazy. But that's not a winning. That's my mentality when I was a player. Get the ball back. We would play a game called Rush and Crush, and they only got credit for winning the point if they were inside the service line when they won it. Sridhar still stayed back. It's like, Sridhar, you can hit 25 straight passing shots. You still don't win any points. Get up there. And the poor kids just couldn't get out of that fixed mentality. I didn't know enough at that time to really sit down with him and find out what's going on inside. What's causing these fears? I saw him 4 or 5 years later in a college tournament, playing the same way. And now I learned that he's passed and had a very limited life. And now I look back and say it's because he didn't know that he could change. On the tennis court or in his life. He felt like his life success was his ranking when he was 11. Rankings don't mean anything when you're in that growth stage. I love the idea of their different stages. And if we focus too much on short term, transactional parents, transactional coaches, focus on how'd you do in this tournament. Transformational coaches and parents think, what did you learn? What are you going? How are you doing? So I'd like to share with you 4 questions that I'd love for everyone to think about and answer for yourself. The first one is, why am I coaching? So if you're a coach, why am I coaching? If you're a parent, why am I supporting my child's passion? And if you're an athlete, why am I playing? Why am I doing this? Where is this passion coming from? Second is, why do I coach the way I coach? Why do I parent the way I parent? For most of us, we just repeat the same things that happened to us. We had an abusive coach. As much as we hated it, we end up being an abusive coach to others. Instead of doing the inner work that says, wait a minute, how is that affecting that other person? And that's the third question, is how does my coaching, how does my parenting affect my child? For athletes, how does my attitude affect all the others in my program? Am I a leader? Am I the one that they look up to say, I've got to work harder? Or are you the slacker that says, I can get by on talent alone? Well, let me tell you, nobody gets by on talent alone anymore. It's impossible. And that's the other aspect of fixed mindset. I have talent. I don't have to work at it. If I work hard, that just shows I'm not really as talented as I think I am. And if I get in a tight situation, I'll just tank. Not give an effort because, I'm talented enough to beat her. But I didn't try. So that's the third question. What impact is my parenting, my coaching, or my attitude and effort on the court, in the pool, affecting others? Am I an inspiration for them? Or am I causing them to be less focused than they need to be to achieve their goals? And then the fourth question is, how do I define success? So the transactional coach, parent, how'd you do in that last tournament? How many trophies did you win? Right? Short term, all based on, I'll feel so much better as a parent if I can say, my child won such and such. My child is ranked so-and-so. My child just made it to the Olympics. The transformational coach says, what kind of person will this person become in 20 years? And you never know how you've actually done until you look back and say, wow, this person became an amazing human being with great relationships, great belief in themselves, great contribution to the world. And that's what I love about the players that I've worked with, is you look back and you say, wow, that person became a real success. Maybe I had a tiny little fraction of part in that. And that's what a coach lives for. I help make this just a little bit by me creating an atmosphere. I help this person become the person that they are. And that doesn't mean that you're a success if your child becomes an engineer because you wanted them to and they hate it. I don't care what kind of great money you make and what kind of great job you get if you don't like it, if it's not your passion. So parents, don't force your children to give up their passion. Like they're saying, there are going to be tons of jobs in sports. I left college after 3 years. Gave it all up. I had a chance to go to Hawaii and start teaching tennis and form an international tennis management company. I was lucky. But it was a gamble. But I followed my passion and I've had an awesome life. Your children will too if you allow them to follow their passion. You help them learn and grow all they can through it. The one regret I have in life is that I didn't see Leander win his Olympic medal. I was living in Atlanta until 1 month before, and I left town because I was worried about the traffic and all the crazy stuff that they said. But I saw him 3 weeks later, and he told me the story of how he did it. In the semifinals against Andre Agassi, and if you know anything about tennis, you know Andre Agassi hit the ball twice as hard as anybody else at that time. Leander basically finished with his arm broken. The morning of the bronze medal match, he could not grip the racket. He could not make a fist. He was like this. The doctor said, "You're done." He said, "Well, is there anything I can do?" "Well, maybe we can give you some painkillers." So he said, "I'll try anything." So he went out there, couldn't warm up. Somehow the painkillers worked. He won the first set, lost the second set, got down 4-1 in the third. Anyone else would have said, "I've got an excuse. My arm is broken. How can I play tennis? I don't even have a 2-minute backhand," which I wish we would have taught him then. But at that moment, what he said, he went inside. And that's where all champions go. They go inside. And he said, "I prayed to God." He said, "You know how hard I've worked. You know that this has been my passion for my whole life, is to win an Olympic medal. You know that my country means everything to me. And you know that we haven't won a medal of any kind for 40 years. Right now in this moment, I need you more than anything. Please help me." Somehow, just by his heart, you know what happened? He won 5 straight games, won the bronze medal for all of you. Thank you so much. It's been a real pleasure, and I hope that you will take some of these things to heart and really look inside. All the answers are there. Whether you're an athlete, a parent, we all need to look inside and Find our strength there. God is there. God is here. We need to look inside. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We're now going to have an interval of 1 hour for lunch. Please be back by